Heaven's Journey to Life. Glorifying the Devil as the Nature of God. Day 36. As mentioned in the previous post, we're looking at how fear manifested as a presence and awareness within our unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind as consciousness that manifested into and as our entire minds, protecting and defending our action and nature of blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, where this fear became a force and presence that manifested our awareness as energy. And it is this fear that suppressed us into not seeing, realizing, and understanding the consequences of ourselves as energy authority over and of the physical body and this physical existence. In this, how essentially our beingness became that of fear for survival and possession, and completely programmed our minds and consciousness in that starting point, and how we deliberately use blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification to protect and defend that fear. Instead of us standing up for life and equality and oneness, we fall into the protection and defense of fear as a survival and possession of ourselves as energy within and as blame, as spite, excuse, and justification. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, in the beginning, as my beingness and manifested singularity within and as existence, when in that one location and position within and as existence, where I, for the first time, accumulated myself into an as positive energy experience awareness, which then diminished to the neutral I, and then to the negative energy experience awareness, where from the negative energy experience, friction and conflict starting point, I moved me deeper into the substance of existence, my beingness, and manifested singularity, where the energy of me consumed the depths of my substance in my within and without to accumulate me as energy again from the negative to the neutral and the positive energy experience awareness, where the awareness of and as me as energy in that moment manifested as fear of loss, as my positive energy experience awareness diminished and lessened to the negative, and within and as that negative energy experience awareness as the awareness of me as energy, as fear of loss, impelled me to physically move me forward to search and seek for my reward as positive energy experience within and as the who, what, and how I am, as blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification, as the deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of me as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how this fear awareness of and as me as energy manifested in separation from and of me as my beingness, manifested singularity, and existence as a whole as substance manifest, where the awareness of me would have been that of life and equality and oneness, with the certainty of eternity here as me. But instead, due to my accepted and allowed conception of separation, manifested me into and as fear awareness as energy that exists within and as possession and survival, in and as the nature and action of me as blame through spite, excuse, and justification, that from that moment would only consider and regard its own possession and survival of and as energy within and as the starting point of and as fear manifested as the nature and action of blame within and as spite, excuse, and justification to protect and defend its own possession and survival. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how I accepted and allowed myself to manifest myself into two realities, enslaving substance as me through consuming it into energy, and enslaving me to energy that can only exist through consuming substance within and as fear, as the nature and action of blame, as spite, excuse, and justification, and so imprisoned me into such an existence of the relationship between energy and substance, as me within the eternity of and as substance as me, manifesting me into eternal damnation and hell, as the evil and manifestation of evil, me as energy reversing life and live to energy and evil. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how I became the nature of God and the action of the devil as energy, deifying myself as energy into godliness, nature, through and as defying of life and actual God, as substance manifest into and as the action of me as evil and devil, as the consuming of life and substance into and energy within, and as blame as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how the nature of me as God and action of me as the devil exist within and as the energy awareness of me as fear, for my own possession and survival as energy, to constantly and continuously through and as the devilish action of me as blame within and as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification, as the process of deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, manifest the survival and rewarding of me as energy and positive energy experience in creating and empowering the God and godliness nature of me as energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how, in the beginning, with my starting point awareness of me split into the two realities of energy and substance, that I became the facilitator in the relationship between energy and substance, where my initial physical movement into and as the depths of substance and existence, my being and manifested singularity, was instigated and initiated by and through energy, where my movement was not an actual decision, but something that was driven and instigated by experience as energy, with that experience manifested in and as the awareness of and as energy, as me, as fear, within and as the starting point of and as negative energy experience, friction and conflict, to search and seek for my reward and survival as energy within and as the optimum energy experience as positive energy. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how, from that moment in the beginning, my starting point movement and living of and as me as energy would be driven and instigated and initiated within and from experience as energy, as fear, searching for and looking for its survival as possession of and as energy, as the positive energy experience awareness, where the moment the energy experience diminish and lessen to the negative energy experience, it initiate and instigate and drive the fear experience as and from the negative energy experience of and as friction and conflict. And so move me to search and look for myself, my godliness nature as the positive energy experience within the devilish action of me as blame, within and as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification to protect and defend my possession and survival of me as God and energy. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to separate me into and as energy to such an extent from level 1 separation, my beingness manifest as singularity and existence manifest in the moment of conception of me as separation. Level 2 separation. From that separation, manifesting friction and conflict that generated negative energy experience that separated me further into and as the neutral energy experience awareness, only me, to the positive energy experience awareness, the more of me. Level 3 separation. In and as the energy awareness of me as negative, neutral, and positive. The moment my positive diminished and lessened, separated me into and as the energy experience of and as fear, within and as the negative energy experience. The fear experience of and as the lesser of and as me as negative energy experience possessed the entirety of me as energy, where in and as that fear and negative energy experience, I started moving within and as existence to search and seek for my survival and possession of me as energy, as the positive energy experience awareness. And so, separated me entirely and completely within and as my beingness and manifested singularity into and as fear experience awareness of and as energy and the search and seeking for the positive energy experience awareness, fulfillment, survival, and possession. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that within and as that fear experience awareness of me as energy, searching and seeking for its possession and survival of and as energy and positive energy experience awareness. The fear experience awareness possessed me as energy. And I, at this stage, had completely and entirely separated me into and as the possession of me as energy, and the consuming of me in and as the fear experience awareness, separating me from and of the ways, means, and methods I had become energy in the first place, as a deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life, excusing life authority for energy authority to exist, as consuming substance to transform into energy, justified as defying life and deifying energy, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of me as energy, because I had become what I had equally as one done, consuming and possessing substance for energy. I had now become consumed by and possessed as energy as fear experience awareness. Fear experience awareness consuming me as energy to search and look for its possession and survival of and as energy and positive energy experience awareness. In the next post, we'll have a look at how we evolved as the consuming possession of ourselves as fear as energy, manifested as consciousness of and as the mind consciousness system, and the creation of ourselves as the world system of money, where in and as the consuming possession of separation, separated ourselves from our natures and actions of blame as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification as why and how we to this day deliberately do not see, realize, and understand the consequences we create to the physical body and its physical existence as energy and money in and as our consuming possession of and as fear, as the protection and defense of our own survival as energy and money. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, show, reveal, and expose the relationships between God and the devil within and as me as my mind consciousness system, in identifying the ways, means, and methods as the devil I use to empower me as God and ego in and as my mind, that especially manifest within and as my secret mind as the backchat and internal conversations between me as the devil and God, that in that relationship ensure the possession and survival of me as consciousness and ego. Because I see, realize, and understand that the relationship between God and the devil within me is simply the relationship between the negative and the positive polarity of me as energy, that manifests consciousness and ego as the mind consciousness system to ensure its possession and survival of and as energy. In my process of walking, writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application is the process of stopping the relationship between the negative, neutral, and positive of and as energy, where the negative empowers the positive, because as long as energy as the devil and God exist in the within and without of and as me, life cannot exist as equality and oneness. I commit myself to show those of and as me that believe in the externalized God and devil, that relationship externalized is what we in fact exist as in and as ourselves, as the mind, as the relationship between God, the positive energy experience of, and as ego, and how we create that God within ourselves through and as the action of ourselves as the devil, as our relationship as the mind to the physical body, that consume physicality to transform into and as energy. In this, to see, realize, and understand why and how beings of religions will stand within and as blame, as spite, excuse, and justification to and towards the abuse and consequence that exists within the physical existence, in and as the name of God, because this is equally as one as what they exist as within and as themselves, standing within and as blame, as spite, excuse, and justification to and towards their physical bodies, in and as the name of and as their God, as ego and mind and consciousness. And so we only manifest a relationship to God externalized to maintain their relationship within themselves as God internalized, as the ego consciousness. And so within and as blame, as deliberate spite, excuse, and justification, accept and allow the abuse and consequence internally and externally, and not in fact stand up and change within themselves and this world to bring forth a life of and as equality and oneness for self and for all, because all is protecting their fear of possession and survival as energy and money. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, as I walk my process of stopping the God and devil relationship within me as the positive to the negative, as walking my process of releasing myself from and of the fear, awareness, possession, and survival of me as energy. I assist and support me to stand with and as life awareness, as the physical, as manifested equality and oneness. Through walking here as breath, the starting point of me walking with real life as the physical, and start my process of walking my life awareness with and as breath as the physical body. I commit myself to, as I walk my process of stopping the relationship between God and devil as me and my relationship as the mind to the physical, and walk my process from fear awareness, possession, and survival to life awareness, living through and as breath, writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, as returning me as energy to physical equality and oneness as substance manifest. To walk into and as the world system of money that had become the nature of and as God, as the accumulation of and as money, through and as the actions of the devil as consuming, through deliberate manipulation, abuse, and misuse of substance and life and physicality, using life physical authority for energy and money authority to exist, as consuming substance and physicality to transform into energy and money, justified as defying life and physicality and deifying energy and money, through and as deliberate friction and conflict, spite, for the survival and rewarding of it as energy and money, and positive energy experience accumulation as the more of and as money, and transform the world system of money, of the relationship between God and the devil, to life of and as equality and oneness as an equal money system.